298-1490. That is the All-Pro Plumbing studio line. Check them out, allprorooterandplumbing.com. If you have any kind of plumbing issue, they are the ones. We'll talk Arizona football here in just a second. It's another big-time Arizona recruit that now officially will not pan out. And again, the conversation will not be about Keenan Walker and Keenan Walker only. This is not an individual issue. This is a culmination. This is a pattern that has been building over the last few seasons. There is no doubt. Greg Esposito is going to join us. We will talk the Phoenix Suns. Another tough season has come to an end, and I want to know from our Suns insider what he thinks, where he sees this franchise going. We talked yesterday about the direction. I'd like some clarity, and I think he's going to be a guy that can give it to us. Also, Rawle Alkins will test the draft waters. He announced that today. To me, Rawle is not the news. Rawle's announcement is not the news. It's not even news because who didn't see this coming? But it is more illustrative of something else. And we know what that something else is. And I got to tell you, I don't even really like talking about it anymore because things just don't change in this regard. And we will get to that. But I do want to say before we get too much further, you know, when celebrities pass away, depending on who the celebrity is, I can be sad. I mean, I'm sad when anybody dies. You lose your life, you leave people behind that loved you. It's tough for anybody. But a lot of times, especially the Facebook, Twitter, social media era, I feel like people envision a relationship that they had with people that just doesn't exist. And I don't. People grieve, and when they feel like they've lost. I don't judge. I guess I'm kind of judging, but people should be able to grieve however they want. But you know, today Charlie Murphy passed away. I didn't even know Charlie Murphy had leukemia. He was 57 years old, and no, he never became as famous as his brother Eddie Murphy. But as a person, it was a teenager in my early 20s when the Chappelle Show was out. That show really changed the way I looked at things, especially from a comedic standpoint. And there was no question that Dave Chappelle was by far and away the star of the show. But I think it was people like specifically Charlie Murphy that allowed that star to shine that much more brightly. It was like shining a light in a mirror on something that was already incredibly bright. I mean, there are so many different skits that to me were just so incredibly delightful. But my favorite has to be the one with Rick James.
Charlie Murphy! What's up, partner? Darkness, everybody. Darkness is spreading. Go ahead, Charlie. What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap! Bang, bang! I'm sorry, Charlie Murphy. Come here, darkness. The celebration! Correct. It's a celebration. Show Charlie Murphy Rick James.
And again, there's no doubt the star of that skit is Dave Chappelle, but does it work if Charlie Murphy isn't Charlie Murphy sitting in the seat across from Rick James? No. And just the look on his face. What? And then Rick James slaps him right across the face. Chappelle's Show wouldn't be Chappelle's Show without Dave Chappelle, but it would never have been as funny or as popular without guys like Charlie Murphy. So I was bummed. That was a big blow from my more formative years when, you know, I have a young son now. He's a year old. Man, he is so moldable. You teach him all kinds of crazy things, and he's just like a sponge. So you learn certain things in large quantities and volumes at an early age, but the way you look at the world is shaped, like somebody forging something out of iron with a hammer, or somebody working on a clay wheel making some kind of pottery, molding things. And one of the things that molded me as a teenager and into my early 20s, like I said, was the Chappelle Show, and Charlie Murphy was a huge part of that. It's a sad day, no doubt. Let's talk Arizona football. Now, the impetus, the thing that preempted this conversation is Keenan Walker's announcement yesterday that he will transfer, four-star offensive lineman, the crown jewel of the 2015 class. Not only was he the crown jewel of the 2015 class, but he was from Chaparral. They had gone to Phoenix and gotten a stud. There has been nowhere near enough of that in Rich Rodriguez's tenure, and he was one of those guys that it felt like things could change. Things maybe will change. Keenan Walker never played it down at Arizona. Gray-shirted, red-shirted, had an injury his senior year of high school, had an off-the-field incident where he was, I can't remember if he was arrested or detained, what ultimately ended up happening, but it was something in, I think it was either Tempe or Scottsdale, outside of a bar. But Keenan Walker has shown a pattern. What he ended up amounting to or not at Arizona was nowhere near what the expectation was. And, I mean, he's not the only one. Pierre Cormier, Derek Babish, Marcus Griffin, Devontae Neal, Jamondre Cobb, Marquise Ware. I mean, you could even throw Cam Denson in there. I hate to do that to a local kid, but... And I wonder if I'm a high-end prospect and I'm considering Arizona, do I look at that and say, man, I don't know. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to get playing time, which you know you're going to get a bunch of if you come to Arizona as a blue chipper right now. It's no question. But, I mean, if you're a four-star kid and you look at all the list of kids that have not panned out, do you risk it and add your name to that list? I don't know. It is very frustrating. Recruitment has been such a elongated conversation over the last year or so. I mean, we have talked about it a lot. And that's because there was actionable things to talk about. Arizona got off to a hot start last summer, really last spring, and they were landing guys left and right. It was unbelievable. It's one of those things where you kept saying, hey, it's too good to be true. Guess what? It was, for a variety of reasons, right? The football team goes 3-9. They lose key assistants, and by key assistants, I certainly mean key recruiters. Kids make last-minute choices to go to other schools like Oregon. Willie Taggart showing up in Eugene really put a wrench in things for the Cats, though you can say, oh, well, yeah, if Willie Taggart doesn't show up, yeah, those kids will go somewhere else. Probably still not Arizona. They clearly – here's the thing. Rich Rod and his staff, they work so hard that it is so hard to go the other way. And here's the other thing, past staffs, I'm not going to put anything on the current staff, there's a few new names and faces, but there is either a problem in identifying talent from afar, like in the recruiting process, or you find kids with talent, you bring them in, and you can't develop that talent. It is either one or the other. It may even be both, but it cannot be neither. It can't be neither. Because there's clearly a disconnect here. Now, I wonder about the kids that didn't show up, the Jalen Tabors of the world. And, Zach Rosenblatt made a great point in the 4 o'clock hour that, Jalen Tabor was not Keenan Walker. He was a 5-star, a highly coveted 5-star. So maybe he's not the best example. You look at Khalil McKenzie. What he did in his first year at Tennessee, not much. Came back last year, his sophomore year, and, just looks amazing. You look at him and you go, oh, my God, that kid was chiseled from a football-shaped rock. It's incredible. Now, he had an injury-riddled season, so we don't know what's going to become of him, but a lot of times when Arizona has swung and missed on big guys, they have gone on to good careers elsewhere. And maybe that won't hold true in the future, but over the last few seasons, it has happened. And, we talk about diamonds in the rough, the Scooby Wrights of the world. I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. Finding guys like Scooby, those 2-stars that are like non-existent on the recruiting scene and then go on to win almost every major defensive player of the year award, it's incredibly uncommon. And Arizona needs to strike on kids like that. A school like Arizona can get a lot of 2- and 3-star kids. You got to make the best out of what you can. But if your overall plan is to have a team full of Scoobies, that's a piss-poor plan. I'm not saying that's what Arizona's plan is, but you've got to find harmony between your 2- and 3-star kids and even your walk-ons, and then the smaller group of 4-star kids. And Still waiting on that 5-star. But it's just, recruiting is so much about momentum, and right now the momentum has been sliding drastically in the wrong direction for a while. It's been now months. And the development. I think that truly is the big problem. I mean, recruiting is a crapshoot, but is it not a crapshoot for everybody? Alabama, USC, Ohio State. Though I guess the rebuttal to that would be, well, yes, it's a crapshoot for everybody, but if you have a lot of really high odds kids, you can afford to have 2 or 3 of them go belly up. I mean, we've seen this before. At one point with USC in the mid-2000s, it seemed like their running backs and their linebackers, no matter where you were in the depth chart, were all 5-star kids. Your starter, your backup, your 3rd string, your 4th string, they're all 4 and 5-star kids. So yeah, if one kid gets hurt, that's not good. But if the talent drop-off is relatively non-existent, right? I mean, that was really Arizona's problem last year. Yes, it was the injuries, but what it really was the disparity between starters and reserves. It was way too wide. And we're talking like Grand Canyon size. Arizona had nothing behind their starters. And again, that comes back to recruiting and development. Recruiting and development. Arizona is bad at likely both of them, but at least one of them. It has to be at least one of them. And here's the thing. The way Arizona started was just under Rich Rodriguez, right? 12, 13, 14, positive. 15, 16, increasingly more negative. Here's the problem, is Arizona has put themselves in a position where they have to hit home runs on almost all of their recruits from here on out, at least for the foreseeable future. And it's one of those things where it's like, let's say you're watching a game, football, basketball, baseball, and you're watching it with somebody, and that person you're watching with says, "Oh man, our team can come back. They can do it." But you look at the scoreboard, and you're down X amount of points. You need so many buckets, and your team hasn't been able to score a bucket all night. What makes you think they're going to be able to do it now? That's how I feel about Arizona in this juncture. It's too late almost. I'm not saying that Rich's tenure at Arizona is over, but they've put themselves in a position where they have to rely on a lot of kids that I'm not sure are the most reliable. And I'm not even talking about the ones that are here. I mean, this recruiting class was supposed to be Arizona's salvation. Well, they still need salvation, but they have not quite the same skill set of people around them. And that makes things very difficult. Who is the next Keenan Walker? Hopefully nobody. But boy, there has been several of them. I don't know. Off seasons are about momentum and how you carry it. Very concerned. I mean, it doesn't mean much, I guess. It's just how you enter the fall. I mean, what really matters, if we're all going to be honest with each other, is how you do in 12 separate, either Thursdays, Fridays, or Saturdays. All the rest of it is just leading up to it, build up, what have you. God, there are too many Keenan Walkers. He didn't even touch the field. The crown jewel of Arizona's recruiting class didn't touch the field. And last year's crown jewel, guess what happened to him? He didn't come. He didn't show up. It's tough. Well, it's more than tough, but it is what it is. All right, we're going to talk Arizona Wildcats basketball here in a few minutes. Rawle Alkins declares for the NBA draft today, but says he will not hire an agent, which didn't surprise me at all. And this whole process has shown me something else, that it's illuminating a bigger problem, a problem that we've talked about many, many times. Don't forget tonight, Diamondbacks and Giants coverage begins at 6:30 from San Francisco with Mike Farron and the BP Show right here on ESPN Tucson 1490 and 104.9 FM. We'll talk Suns with Greg Esposito next year on ESPN Tucson.
There's an injury accident on Camino Seco at Old Spanish Trail. There are other wrecks on Kolb at Ventana Canyon Drive, 13th Avenue at Irvington, and Grant at Fairview. And remember that Glen Street is closed just west of Craycroft for construction work. Jim Edwards, Tucson Traffic.
Are you feeling old, low energy, low sex drive? Maybe you've tried supplements, pills, or even another men's clinic with no success. I'm Dr. Charles Arakaki of the Universal Men's Clinic, where we specialize in treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone. With modern medicine and the latest technology, our patients experience a high level of success and a high level of care. Let us improve the quality of your life.
Call us at 520-514-2222. That's 520-514-2222. Or visit universalmensclinic.com. Guys, if you are a patient of another men's clinic and would like to experience the high level of care and effectiveness at Universal Men's Clinic, call us. We will transfer your care and treatment free of charge. We are the leaders in men's sexual health and testosterone replacement. That is why our doctors often see patients who have been to another clinic. To transfer your care or to become a new patient, call us at 520-514-2222. That's 520-514-2222. Or visit universalmensclinic.com.
Trail Boss Outfitters Guns and Gear has a raffle the last Saturday of every month. You could win a gun or any number of other prizes. Everyone who registers is a winner. Call 762-8666 for more details or drop in anytime until noon the last Saturday of the month to register. While you're there, make sure you check out the deal of the day. Trail Boss Outfitters, located at 13,180 Colossal Cave Road, about 1 mile north of exit 279 Vale Wentworth Road.
In honor of Cinco de Mayo, Corona and Hotel Rocky Point want to send you to the beach in beautiful Puerto Penasco, Mexico. All you have to do is go to espntucson.com/Cinco to register to win. You can also tune into this show right here on our Facebook page for chances to win Corona prize packs, and they are nifty. So go to our website, espntucson.com/Cinco, register to win that vacation. And you can join us on Facebook Live when we tell you. Of course, you can join us now, but we'll give you the little heads up as to when we're going to do that. It's going to be a ton of fun. So we talked Suns yesterday as they were wrapping up their season, and I'm not a huge NBA guy. I follow it as much as I can, but we like having somebody that has boots on the ground, that has a much more vested interest. And so we're going to expand our Suns conversation. And joining us now on the All Pro Plumbing studio line, the host of the Solar Panel, a columnist for Sports 360 AZ. We are joined by Suns insider Greg Esposito. Greg, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Am I eligible for the Corona prize pack? How do I win this pack?
Well, so you got to come. You got to be joining us on our Facebook page, and you have to be able to translate Spanish phrases. How's your Spanish, Espo?
I failed out of Spanish at the University of Arizona, so I don't think I'm going to be winning this. And if I have to look at you on Facebook Live, I'm out.
Yeah, no, you're
so
smart.
I guess I'm not winning.
No, but you have made excellent life choices, and for that, Greg, I am happy for you. And look, Greg, this is the second 50-plus loss season in a row for the Suns. What were you expecting going into this season? I mean, how did the Suns' season stack up against your expectation?
I was expecting 60 losses, so I guess they did marginally better than I was expecting. Anybody that thought this season wasn't going to be about basically tanking was kidding themselves. And it was proven very early on that this team wasn't going to be successful. And I'm actually, I won't say happy, but I'm optimistic that they finally decided on a path to go down and committed to it, because they haven't made the playoffs in 7 years, and for 6 of those years, they were straddling the fence. They weren't willing to commit to being bad enough to get in the top 3 picks in the draft and try to find a superstar. And anybody that tells you that, oh, the plan was always at number 13 to get Devin Booker, a guy who could turn into a superstar, they're lying to you through their teeth. That was a luck of the draw kind of pick there. Devin Booker has far surpassed anything that anybody expected him to do. So I'm glad they're finally committing to being bad enough to get a game changer in the draft.
You mentioned Devin Booker right there, and Greg, I agree with you. I'm not sure they got lucky with him, but certainly he has far surpassed his draft slot. What do you think his ceiling is? Because he keeps getting better, and it feels like at times it's at an exponential rate.
Well, prior to this season, I was in the camp of this guy will never be better than a 1B on your team, a second option. And this year he proved me wrong with that. I actually think his ceiling is superstar. It's a guy, if he keeps advancing the way he did the last 2 years, and really it was a year and a half, because he didn't play the first 2 months of his career. Right. He barely played any minutes when Jeff Hornacek was the head coach. It was really since Earl Watson took over in January of last year that Devin Booker started to see minutes. I think his ceiling could even be a Kobe Bryant type. And I know that's lofty and that's best case scenario, but this guy has the attitude, has the mental makeup, and is proving he has the skill set to have a big-time star in this league.
And again, I'm just going to go off things you mentioned here, Greg. You threw in Earl Watson there. What do you think, or how do you think he did in his first full season at the helm? I know that the season wasn't necessarily a positive one, but that was kind of the expectation going in. How do you think he did within those parameters?
Look, he's a great guy to build culture and to build kind of a team mentality. But I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll say it right now to you. In life, sometimes you have relationships where it's not Mr. Right, it's Mr. Right Now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Earl Watson is. He's Mr. Right Now for the Phoenix Suns, where he's great for the phase that they're in, with a lot of young guys and trying to develop who they are and a certain mindset. But when it comes time to win, I'm not 100% sure he'll be the guy. He didn't show it always in the X's and O's or his rotations at times, especially before management decided sometimes there were some rotations that they scratch your head. He's going to grow with these young guys. He's 36. He's the first time head coach at any level, and last year he was a back row player development coach before he was head coach. So everybody's going to expect there's going to be growing pains with him as well. But Robert Sarver said 2020 of season ticket holders that the year 2020 is when they expect to compete for a title. Well, it's a long way away, and we'll see if Earl Watson has matured enough as a coach to be the guy. My sneaking suspicion is
I think we lost our friend Greg there. I said this over and over again, man. 4G, 3G, LTE, yeah! Pfft. Cell phones suck. Mine sucks. Yours suck. They all suck. That's the interesting thing with an Earl Watson type. I think Greg was spot on there when you talk about Mr. Right versus Mr. Right Now, that Earl Watson, they didn't interview anybody else. They just hired him, right? They didn't interview any former head coaches, any up-and-coming assistants. They just said, Earl Watson's our guy. I didn't like that move. I thought it wasn't thorough enough. I thought that the players, the fans, everybody deserved more. And by just kind of up and hiring Earl Watson, I thought they did themselves a disservice. Not that he couldn't end up being the guy, but so far it hasn't been the case. I think we have Greg back in line. Espo, you there?
I'm here. This is why you don't do radio hits on a cell phone. I will landline next time, Zach.
No, people always apologize. This happens all the time. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it, Greg. What was your takeaway from Marquise Chris and Dragan Bender in their rookie campaigns? I know with Bender a little harder to evaluate because of the injury.
Marquise Chris surprised me, honestly. Everything you heard was not a great rebounder, motivation questions sometimes, which was why he didn't go number 4 to the Suns, that they waited to trade back up and get him at 8. But he showed a great motor. He showed the ability to rebound. I think his effort on the defensive end was better than anybody expected. And his athleticism was above and beyond anything that I thought we'd see from him. Overall, I give him an A for what he was able to do. And you can see where the potential is moving forward. He showed the kind of athleticism and explosiveness and ability to catch alley-oops that you kind of saw in young Amari Stoudemire. So extremely encouraging. For Dragan Bender, you can't really judge him, but there's a lot of people that have completely jumped off that bandwagon, and some people even online, which I know don't read comments, don't listen to a lot of people online, but would call him a bust. I think this guy
Too early.
showed flashes. Way too early. He's youngest guy in the NBA. You can't call a guy a bust in that, especially when he didn't play very many minutes before he got injured, and then was injured. So you saw flashes, and in the beginning of the season, he had an outlet pass. He got the rebound under the hoop and fired really past full court to Bill Jr. for the court vision this guy has. His ability, I think he's a very big part of the future. And I think feeling is higher than that of Marquise Chris.
Phoenix Suns insider Greg Esposito is a columnist for Sports 360 AZ and the host of the Solar Panel. Check him out at sports360az.com and at sunspodcast.com. Greg, thanks for the time, sir. Always great talking to you.
Always a pleasure, man. Anytime.
He says anytime. You heard it. We're taking advantage of that. Greg, thank you. Always a pleasure to have you on the program. And, that's the thing. Calling Dragan Bender a bust, and is he even 19 yet? I mean, it's a little early. I mean, was it a bust of a season? Fine. But couch your comments in that context. Next time we have Greg on, we're running out of time there, we'll look more to the draft. And, I think before we look to the draft, the Suns have to answer maybe their own question as what are we going to do with our point guards? Because the top of the draft is loaded with premier point guards. What's the last thing the Suns need? In fact, what is the one thing the Suns have never needed? More point guards. Hey, did you go to Kentucky? Ooh, you played guard? Sold. Come on down. We love you. I mean, I don't know, Stacey. Will they take Fultz? He went to Washington. Will they take Ball? He went to UCLA. I don't
Who are
see.
both really good players, but not what they need.
Oh no, I was just because they didn't go to Kentucky.
Well,
they're both point guards. That's
yeah.
good for the Suns.
Yeah.
But Stacey, they do need a point guard. What they need to do is find a way to move on from Brandon Knight and draft one of these other guys. Or
I
you
don't
go
know how
small
you're going
forward.
to do that with the contract he has.
Or maybe you go small forward and go with like a Frank Mason. I mean, I think he's an incredibly talented player. The small forward spot is thin, but I think before the Suns get to the point of drafting, they need to answer questions about what they have on their roster right now, and they have
A lot of questions.
well, they have a couple months to answer them. Though what gets done between now and then, who knows? Who knows? Let's get back into the Arizona Wildcats. We'll talk Arizona basketball and Rawle Alkins when we come back here on ESPN Tucson 1490 and 104.9 FM.
Zach Clark on ESPN Tucson 1490 and 104.9 FM. Presented by Bud Light. Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
We've got an injury accident on Camino Seco at Old Spanish Trail. There are other crashes on Kolb at Ventana Canyon Drive, 13th at Irvington, and Grant at Fairview. If you see a traffic issue we should know about, call the Tucson Drive Time traffic line at 721-CARS, 721-2277. Jim Edwards, Tucson Traffic.
Hello?
Yeah, I'd like to update my insurance policy and see if I can save. Are you there?
Sorry, my hands are tied. Literally. I work for one provider.
Oh.
If your insurance agent is tied down, are you sure you're getting the right price or coverage? Trusted Choice independent agents have the freedom to competitively shop many providers to find you great prices on the coverage options you need.
Tucson Insurance Associates is your trusted choice agent in Tucson. Find them online at TucsonInsuranceAssociates.com or call 396-4727.
He bleeds Wildcats red. More Zach Clark on ESPN Tucson 1490 and 104.9 FM.
and more information. Stacy, I got to tell you 2 things. One, I'm super bummed that I can't go to this. It's a great beer festival. And secondly,
it's made your life a little bit difficult.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, but the guys at Sentinel Peak have become very good friends of mine. Excellent dudes, great craft beer, and a few of them have Michigan ties like I do, so we really get along, and I just love what they do. And so I set them up to pour beer at our wedding, right? They're going to be we're not going to have just your run-of-the-mill Coors, Bud, whatever. We're going to have Sentinel Peak brews and that only. And so their beer is only coming in a keg, which is great for me. I'd rather have it that way, especially at a wedding. But what we need is a CO2-operated keg pump. Because here's what I don't want. I'm not trying to have a red cup party wedding. Hey, bro, you want a beer? Yeah, hold on. I got to pump it first, though. Oh, yeah, wait, hold on. I got to fill up this pitcher so we can play flip cup first. Then you can have a beer, right? Like, that's what this feels like to me. Hey, you got a beer? All right, hold on. Guys over there pumping. It's foamy. Right? So, look, if that's what has to happen, fine. If that's the worst thing that happens on our wedding day, whatever.
But because of this event.
Right, because normally I'd have no problem from brewer friends of mine or bar owner friends of mine. I'd have no problem. Forget renting one. I'd have no problem borrowing one. Somebody just give it to me, right? But not only can I not borrow one because all of my craft beer friends are serving their own beers at the Baja Beer Festival, but I also can't rent one because all those people that are serving beer at the festival that don't already have one have already rented one months and months and months ago. It's crazy. And look, Stacey, I'm not a popular guy. I don't know a ton of people, but I have become ingratiated with the craft beer community because of some of the work that we do and some of the interests that I have. And so I thought, this is going to be an easy one.
Nope.
It's been the hardest thing I've done yet. Though I think today,
I think this is the only thing Carrie gave you to do for the wedding.
Well, no, it's not the only. No. Hold on. It's not the only thing she gave me. It's that for the most people ask me, a lot of times I get this question like, how involved have you been, like in the process? And my answer has always been the same, and my thought is always the same. I have been involved as my partner has wanted me to be. If she wants a lot of input on something, no problem for me. I've got a thought about everything. If she wanted to just take something on her own, that was fine with me too. But there were 2 things I wanted to have some or most control of. One was what I wore because, me, right? Which I had. I have had no problem with the choices that were made there, and I made most of them. And then I also wanted to handle the hard liquor and the beer because those are things that are near and dear to me. And also what I wanted in our wedding, Stacey, was to have local flavor. Mm-hmm. And so we have that. All the liquor that we'll be serving was made here in Tucson.
It's all local.
Same with our beer. Same with our catering. The wine comes from, my girlfriend is from the Seattle, Washington area, and there's a beautiful vineyard up there that she absolutely loves, Chateau Saint Michel, and so the wine will come from there, but she's a wine drinker. I'm not. No problem letting her have that one. So, yeah, it is. And it's not as if I've failed, because here's what's going to happen next Saturday, Stacey. That beer is coming out of the keg one way or the other. I don't care if they've got to do it Cheech and Chong style, steel and gas, where you blow into the tank and it shoots back out at you. I don't care. That's how they got to do it. That beer's coming. If I got to poke a hole in the top and the bottom and use gravity, the beer is coming out of that keg. Here's the other thing. As much as I love craft beer, Stacey, and I know you don't drink, so you probably don't have any thoughts on this, but when it's open bar, and I've noticed a lot of people are like this, when it's open bar, I never drink beer at a wedding, ever. I always drink liquor. For some reason, when things are free, I drink liquor. And I would have done that. You and I went to a party a couple of weeks ago in Scottsdale, and I would have drank liquor, but they didn't have gin.
So you only drink gin?
No.
For your hard liquor?
Not only, but if I'm having a cocktail, heavy gin, light tonic, twist of lime. That if I, in a perfect world, I would get that every time. Because, it's very unmanly.
Don't get into the vodka.
I don't like vodka. Vodka tastes, like people say with fish, vodka tastes too much like alcohol. Even the expensive stuff has that kind of rubbing alcohol aftertaste. I can drink some of it. I just prefer not. If I'm going to drink a clear liquor, like a martini, I want mine to be gin. That's just me. And whiskey is fine, but I know this is very unmanly. I don't love whiskey. Oh, well, I see you don't love whiskey. You must not be a real man. It's not my thing. So, yeah, gin and tonic. Oh, my God. There's been weddings when I was younger. Oh. You have any gin left? No, sir. You drank it all. Oh. Can you get more? Nope. Yeah, okay. I'll have. Because then I will drink the vodka. And then we almost forgot rum. Not a lot of people drink rum. Unless you're, like, on a beach somewhere, which we're not. So, I will say the rum was not made in Tucson. Because we literally forgot about it. We didn't even, like, I was looking at it, because we have a home office. Well, it used to be a home office. Now it's the wedding room. Because our venue is not a traditional wedding venue where they have food service, alcohol service. So we have to bring.
You had to bring it all in.
Which is what we wanted. We did that on purpose.
You have control over it.
That's what we wanted. So, but because of that, we have a storage room now in our house. It used to be our office. Now you can't, it's not usable. There are so many different things in there. But I was looking through the boxes. She asked me a question about the booze, and I was looking, and I said, I don't know why I was thinking about it, but I said, there's no rum here. So, for those of you that drink rum that are coming to our wedding, you're saved, I guess. I don't want you to drink it with, though. What I mean, like, to me, rum and Coke is one of the worst mixers ever. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, Stacy. Like, the beer is coming out of that keg. And if it doesn't, it's not going to ruin the wedding. Not for me.
That'll be my job. Sit there and hold the keg upside down.
Well, that's the problem with kegs. They don't even come out that way. You have to it's like with air on your tire. You can take the little cap off. Is the air going to come out? No, you got to insert the piece that moves the other piece that lets the air in or out. The keg has the same apparatus. You can flip it upside down. It's not going anywhere. You have to pierce. It's a mess. It's a mess. So, I mean, I don't know. These are the things when people talk about getting married that are just so dang stressful. It's like, man, I just want beer in a glass. Beer in a glass. Because when we go to the bar, do you ever think about that, Stacy? When you're, I mean, and again, I know you don't drink, but like, if I'm at a bar and I have a glass and all of a sudden there's beer in it, and I'm going, I wonder how that all happened. Like, think about the whole process. Nobody does that. They just want the beer. Yeah, you don't even see it happen. They pull a handle, beer comes out. Well, if you've ever been in a tap room, like in the back where the kegs are and the lines go, it's incredibly complicated back there. So, yeah. So I don't know if, I'm thinking about just moving the reception to the Baja Beer Festival because then I don't have to worry about taps. Carrie said no. So I thought about it.
Probably would have been cheaper.
Well, yeah, because I don't know. I mean, do we have to buy everybody's ticket to the beer festival? Probably still would have been cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. So, yeah, I suppose, Stacy, looking at your logic, yes, this was one of the few jobs that I undertook. Though, in fairness to myself, the tuxedos look excellent, and I picked those out, too. So, really, I'm 50-50. I'm not 0 for 2. I'm 1 for 1, about to be 2-0. It's a matter of time. And plus, she got a little snappy with me. She doesn't even drink beer. That was my favorite. What do you mean we can't find a pump? You don't care.
You get your wine.
Yeah. And even if you didn't have her wine, she still wouldn't drink the beer. Crazy. I don't know, man. 10 days away? Time moves quickly, my friend. Time moves quickly. We'll hit last call next year on ESPN Tucson 1490 and 104.9 FM.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. And it's about to get worse. The IRS just hired an army of new tax enforcers. So, if you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive aggressive collection actions and stop that army of new enforcers from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $500 million of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thinking of extending your outdoor living space or updating the look of your yard? Then start by shopping at Central Arizona Block. Capco has a unique selection of paver products, masonry fence wall, retaining wall products, and commercial building products. Buy direct from Central Arizona Block and save time and money. Capco has 2 Tucson locations, the main office at 6030 South Mann Avenue or the North Side Sales Outlet at 2341 Wetmore, just west of La Cholla, 887-1177 or online at capcoaz.com.
ESPN Tucson 1490 and 1049 FM. Stacy, next week I'm only going to be on for a couple of days. My soon-to-be wife was insistent that I take certain days off. I was fine taking the Friday off.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with the Thursday, but taking off the Wednesday. I took off the Wednesday.
Okay.
Well, I figured we start things off on the right foot.
Yeah, so you will be off for a week plus.
Yep, 6 days. So
yeah.
I won't work next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We will do wedding things and run around like crazy, I'm sure. And then
the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, the kids call these mini moons. I think that sounds stupid, but I guess that's what it is, a mini honeymoon. Mini moon just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's what people call it. That's not me.
Let's just say it's the few days after the wedding.
Yeah, we're going
need to recoup.
Yeah, we're going to go to Scottsdale, hang out at a resort, eat food, do the spa thing, go to Topgolf, you know.
I heard they broke ground on that here.
Pretty pumped about that.
Me too.
I'm going to move to Marana, in fact.
It's
I'm so pumped about it. Yeah.
2 miles from my house.
Yeah, Stacey and I are going to become neighbors just so I can play Topgolf every day. And then the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll be back for the draft special. That is one of our favorite shows of the year. Wouldn't want to miss it. Because originally we were going to go to Puerto Rico, and then Stacey was like, hey, that's the NFL draft. And I said, So, but look, it works out for everybody, Stacey, because here's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
At first, Carrie was like, I don't know. I kind of want to go on a honeymoon now. And I'm like, I do too, but listen, hear me out. We get like 4 days, 3 days in Scottsdale, and we're still going to take a week and go to Puerto Rico. So we get
summer.
So you get two bonus vacation. Yeah. That's so it worked out that way. But I think next week on either Monday or Tuesday, maybe both, we'll do some. I don't know how much I trust the general public, but we should probably take some wedding advice for anybody that would like to offer it. I've never been married before, so I don't know.
Yeah, don't look at me.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm looking at you, but I'm not. If I was going to ask for marriage advice, I would call your wife and say, "How the hell have you done this for so long? Please share your secret." I wouldn't ask you. I'd ask her. Right? That's what you would do if you were me.
She is an angel.
Stacey's like, please be listening. Please be listening.
I know she's not. She's feeding the kids right now.
Oh, that doesn't sound.
It's like 6 o'clock, so. Yeah.
For what it's worth, it's 5:56:32.
Well, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Almost bedtime.
Always a complicated, loud, and messy endeavor. The combination of dinner flowing into bedtime.
I wouldn't know. I'm never there.
Do they not eat or sleep on the weekends?
Nope.
That's the worst thing ever. Do your kids sleep on the weekends? Nope. Oh, my God. What do you do? Seriously. Oh, what do you do? Scary. Hey, if anybody's curious of things that happen outside of your peripheral, the NHL playoffs have begun.
That is correct.
And I'll tell you what, I don't follow hockey like I used to. Not even close. Growing up in Detroit, I mean, it was an obsession when I was a kid. For whatever reason, either I've outgrown it or the distance. But I will say, if you don't follow hockey much, and if you're curious and you want to find a way to get into it, watch right now. The playoffs in the NHL are amazing. There is just everybody says, well, our playoffs is really the second season. Every sport says that. I think it's truest in hockey. I think in baseball it's also true. In basketball and football, no. It's just an extension of the first season or of the original season. But there's something to me very captivating about hockey playoffs, especially when you get towards the ends of series and clinching situations. And I mean, the energy, it's like you could make a snowball out of the energy. You can grab it and mound it up and throw it. It is amazing. So if you're looking for something to get into, if you're maybe a disgruntled Suns fan and you need something to watch right now, it's not the Coyotes. Check out the NHL playoffs. Of course, the problem with Gary Bettman being the commissioner is catch the NHL playoffs if you can find them. Good luck.
USA.
USA, is that where this is?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to find it, or did you know?
No, I knew this.
Oh, okay. But, if you didn't know, you'd be flipping around for an hour.
Yeah.
How many sports are on USA? I think they show the tournament on USA?
Yeah, they show some Well, no.
Was that
on True TV.
True TV. I'm sorry.
And TNT and TBS, yeah.
But not USA, which is like right there in the same, right within 3 or 4 channels of each other. They're always in a row.
I just knew because, I like hockey, and I looked it up yesterday.
I'm just glad that John Tortorella is back in the playoffs because there are few things more exciting than a hopped-up John Tortorella, and I don't think he's ever not like that. So it was more fun in New York, though. Columbus is a little bit quieter of a nook, but when you're front and center in New York City, theater. Stacey, do you have a vested interest here in the playoffs at all?
I am a Penguins fan, so don't hate me.
Oh, my God. It's like I all of a sudden really hate you. Not even just like a little bit, like a lot. Ugh, gross.
Hey, they're up 2-0 right now.
Yeah, John Tortorella, the aforementioned, not happy. Zach Rosenblatt, go get Esposito. Thank you. Charles in the booth, Stacey across, and you, the greatest listeners in all of Sports Talk Radio. I appreciate you. We're back tomorrow, 3 o'clock. ESPN Tucson, 1490, 104.9 FM.